So this is why you block territories. Copro really needs to block the Cape of Africa right now, because for some reason the trade... Oh, right, that was against German East Asia. So Copro is now at peace? Or just Japan? Okay, so they're able to take German East Asian legation cities, because they've occupied them for long enough. Now I wonder if that's going to end the war for them. Or if they're going to keep on attacking through Russia. TTV Totty H Henk and JJ Binks, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Good to have so many of you joining us today. Hope you're doing well. Enjoying this so far. So Interlindia is taking Sumatra. They're changing their minds. They're giving a lot of stuff to Interlindia, which is a puppet. Siam is taking Malaya and Vietnam. No, just Vietnam. Japan is taking Borneo. Probably because of the rubber which is there. Now, the effect that this is going to have on Germany is they may not be able to keep up their air presence. Because this is basically all of the world's rubber supplies, except for Brazil. Oh no, they still got Middle Africa. They still have African rubber. So we will need to take a look at Germany to see how this impacts their air production. They've been trapped for so long they could have built a port in the Red Sea. Yeah, you're not wrong. I bet that they weren't expecting to be trapped for that long. Sierra, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And thank you also very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. Welcome to the Maudlings. Thank you for that. Huzzah! Hey, Oven Ray. So, Philippines is taking Oceanic Islands? Yes, they are. So the Pacific Islands are going to the Philippines. Russia is taking New Caledonia, which is the Chromium Island. But the Reichspakt still have loads of chromium, thanks to their holdings in Anatolia. So they'll be fine. It's just the rubber. It's the rubber where I'm a little concerned. But like I said, they can still import from South America, and they still have Africa. And they do still have Sri Lanka, that's true. Yeah, they do get rubber from Sri Lanka. And the Entente's not at war with the Reichspakt. However, using this as a naval base, whoop, they could take Ceylon. So it'll be interesting to see if Germany's actually trying to guard this. I must say, when I play as Germany, I guard colonial stuff a lot more aggressively than the players here do. Usually with 10 combat with militia units, which I think are allowed in this. I did see one multiplayer game where 10 width units weren't allowed, and I was just like, maybe I'll skip that one. Some of the rules that people come up with in Hearts of Iron 4 multiplayers just don't make any sense to me. Like, one rule which I don't like personally is Space Marines. I prefer having Space Marines, and I don't see any reason to block naval rules. And somebody really summed it up perfectly on the Kaiserreich Weekly Discord. It's like all of the naval rules exist to make lazy naval players actually exist. Okay, that was a terrible paraphrase. He said it way better than I did. All of the naval bans so that lazy naval players can be lazy. That's what it was. Is Entente at war with Third International? Yes. Entente's at war with everyone except for Reichspakt. Co-Pro's at war with everyone except for Third International. Reichspact's at war with everyone except Entente. And Third International's at war with everyone except for Co-Pro. And if I said one of those twice and forgot one, I am sorry. Okay, so we wanted to see if Germany was actually guarding Ceylon. No. Which I think is a big mistake, because that's a large portion of their rubber imports. And because it's an island with 2 ports, you can make it a real pain to conquer. But they're just choosing not to. Let alone leaving a navy over there. I don't always leave a navy there, so sometimes I do. But at least put a garrison on the island. Make them have to do something to take it. So, has this made peace between Co-Pro and Germany? It has. And it's given the whole of Ukraine back. Oh, please, Ukraine, just guard that border. Please, just do it. You don't need to be this reluctant. Pretty please, with a cherry on top. In this game, no navy ban. I think there are 2 restrictions for navy. One, you can only do not engage on one-ship fleets, specifically like cruisers. That's just so you can use them for recon, which I don't think is necessary, but I kind of get why they're doing that, because you can get naval supremacy really easily. Yeah, that's an exploit. It's blocking an exploit. Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. Although I would make it 2 ships instead of 1. And no more than 40 submarine stacks. Which I don't think is necessarily necessary, because submarines are so easy to counter. I think that was more of a compromise. But yeah, banning the do not engage. I get that one. Co-Pro and Germany made peace. Huge for Germany, terrible for Co-Pro. I agree. I really want to see Ukraine move up and guard these borders. Like, they've proven already that Russia cannot push this. Especially now, especially during the muddy season. And there's still a fair amount of industry out here. And more importantly, there's a lot of manpower out here. They've gained about 250,000 manpower since making peace. That's 1/3 of their manpower. Ukraine doesn't have enough tanks. I'm not saying they need to push out, I'm saying they just need to defend this. Because they have the German heavy units here, which can bolster them in any places where Russia does decide to attack. I mean, what I would do in Ukraine's shoes right now, they've got 5 armies in this field marshal. In fact, they have several others. Leave an army back here just to make sure you have an entrenched defense of the river, and then put the rest out here. So if you do eventually get pushed back, which could happen, fine. Then you push back to the river, and you still hold it. But at least make the enemy work for this. Ukraine has enough units to make Russia's advance tough. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you'll get pushed in 1 or 2 positions, but it's easy enough to hold those with just sheer weight of numbers. Meanwhile, the German units are being cut off. Where are the Austrian tanks? I'm clicking on everything except for Austria. Austria tanks. Where are they? There they are. All over the place. With a couple moving to... Oh, interesting. Anatolia. And Germany's guarding the entire border against India's... Huzzah! Didn't Russia take this? Or did they take it off of Russia? When did that happen? Wait. India's actually taken a bunch of territory back. They didn't make peace. And Russia is completely withdrawn from Pakistan. Persia's still a puppet. Maybe they have made a deal. Entente gets Indian territories back again in exchange for a ceasefire. That looks like what's happening there. Are alerts disabled? They shouldn't be. Sad Brian, thank you very much for the 13-month Twitch Prime resubscription. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. I can test. They've been coming up all day. Oh, it's the minute delay. Okay, that's what the problem is. Yeah, alerts are probably delayed by a minute. That's likely true, because the stream is delayed. Right, so, of course, Sweden got their territories back as well. Are they being justified against? Yes. Japan is justifying on Ukraine. So, round 2 Electric Boogaloo is going to happen. We were going to check Germany's rubber. They're a little short on a variety of different things. Rubber is not one of them, though. Although, once Insulindia and Siam close, they're going to be 15 short, but that's it. They can import from Brazil, they can import from Cuba, and a couple of other places, but the big suppliers are going to close up, like the Philippines already have. So it could be a problem. Actually, no. You know what? I know somebody has a fair amount of rubber. Because they've been building synthetic refineries. So the source of rubber would be France. And there's quite a lot of it there, thanks to all the synthetic refineries that France has been building. So what Germany needs to do is take France. And during this peaceful moment, shall we say, they'd have an opportunity to do it, because the Reichspakt Air Force is not currently needed against the Co-Pro Air Force. So Sweden could be swinging all of their planes back over here, and in fact they've already done it, and seize control of the skies. And while they've got green air here, Reichspakt should really be pushing this. Because I reckon they could. Although CNTFAI has been starting to get into position, but they've still got really weak positions. 1 infantry, 3 infantry, 2 infantry, 1 infantry, and I'm not counting the militia. 1 infantry, 2 infantry, but there is a river. 1 infantry. Like, the French Alps are rather better guarded, but still the borders between them and Germany just aren't. German subs. What is Germany's organization like? I mean, it's questionable. I'm guessing... Nope, those are random dreadnoughts. Random destroyers. Papal ships? How'd you get them? Roman X... Oh, because you can use decisions to get people's navies, can't you? And they are apparently doing it because at this stage of the game everyone has lots of political power, except for China. Because they need to core. Yeah, they've taken over the papal fleets. Okay, that's interesting. That's why they can't merge them into regular fleets, I guess. Never tried that. Don't know how it would work. And they still have all of their submarines down here in the Cape of Africa. The Entente is the only one in a position which could probably stop them. I don't know if Japanese destroyers could reach across here. I don't think they could. Or maybe Russians from Persia? They'd need to be long range. Cruisers might be able to. Or you just, you know, send your trade via Argentina instead of around the Cape. Thinking about trade here, especially for... Actually, especially for Co-Pro, because they were the ones losing their convoys. In fact, let's take a look. You got 256. Whoa, China has loads, so China can just give them out if anyone gets low. Japan's got sufficient. Siam, it's got sufficient. Philippines. Philippines is the only one that's a bit low, but the Philippines hasn't really been using them. What is the Philippines doing? There it is. Japan's declared war on Ukraine. I don't know what the Philippines are doing. I'm guessing that they're basically being used as an extra pair of hands and being expeditionary units when necessary. Alright, so Russia. Russia. I was going to say, has disbanded their front against the Ukraine? Huh? But no, they've re-established it. Meanwhile, Right Ruthenia is pushing back against the Russians. Not very successfully, though. And the Russians are going after Finland. They're going after the Ukraine. And they do have a big border against the Syrian territories down here. And the Anatolian territories too. Why don't the Germans just make a general push? I don't know. I'm surprised by the lack of moves here by the Reichspakt. Like, this is their war to win. It looks like France has just disbanded their armies. They've pumped out 1 million militia in one giant stack. They have a giant stack of infantry. Not assigned to any front lines. I don't know what France is doing. This looks worse than AI at the moment. This game has gone weirdly quiet. I don't like it. Germany has too. All of the front lines have been removed. Have Germany and France made a agreement of some kind? Am I out of sync? This feels like an out of sync. Because none of the player actions right now are making sense to me. Japan could island hop across the Indian Ocean to get ports for the Cape. Yes, they could, if they showed an awareness for naval matters. They're going for Ceylon. That's a good move. Oh, you know what's also annoying me? Lack of music! It's the silence. It makes everything more oppressive. So the Japanese have indeed landed here. We've got Insul Indian forces sailing somewhere else. Japan needs to wake up and, you know, do something with this. Take Ceylon. Take their rubber. That's really going to screw Germany over. Still have no front lines. Okay, so Ukraine has decided they can defend another little area. They've also got no... What the hell is going on? Alright, I've sent a message to my admin contact, and hopefully hear back soon. Because this is really weird. Really, really weird. I'm not the only one thinking this, right? Entente naval game's been poor. Entente naval game's been non-existent. I don't think it's fair to call it a game. I'm seeing these tiny little front lines, which does show that they are working. It is a mess right now, okay? So it's not just me thinking this. That's so strange. Like, none of these units are assigned to an order. France just has no front lines whatsoever. I think that France has just given up. And you know what's really making me think this? France isn't attacking Belgium. That's the biggest giveaway. Yeah, confirmed. He just sent me a screenshot where it looks identical. So it's not just me. There's something weird going on between these two. Germany just broke France's ciphers. Okay, so it looks like Germany is preparing a huge offensive, but even Germany doesn't have front lines here. Which means they're not going to get any bonuses from planning preparation. Of which they can get up to 50%. That is really significant. This is so strange. I don't know what's happening. Next year, you'll have to join a team and show them how a real navy works. Yeah, maybe. Every country has a naval player. Co-Pro has Japan. Though I think I'd actually possibly prefer to play as Indo-China. No, they don't really do navy. Interlindia does. Yeah, it would have to be Japan. Entente would be probably Canada. Third International, definitely Britain. Possibly Ireland? Oh, Entente could be Australasia. You know what? Australasia can bring the naval game. Yeah, so far, like, the Entente in this game has just been a complete non-factor. We've seen nothing from the Entente at all. Co-Pro has been really slow on the uptake. I don't really know what they're doing at the moment. They're making these, like, minor gains in places like Ceylon. And the Reichspakt has just completely stopped attacking France. And most bizarrely, France has completely stopped attacking Belgium, which is bonkers. A France that stops attacking Belgium has, frankly, lost the will to live. Screw it, 2 Sicilies for MVP. I mean, I'm still gonna... My personal favourite is Austria. I have been continually impressed by Austria's plays. I like Germany because Germany has just played super reliable. Like, they've not really made any mistakes, but they've also not done anything super flashy. Sweden's done a great job as air controller. I think that's a bit of an unsung hero moment there with Sweden. So I want to take a moment and say Sweden's done good with air control. Because they have just consistently dominated in the skies. Bulgaria hasn't done a huge amount to impress me, but they're mostly just feeding tanks to Austria and letting Austria get all the glory. Ukraine airborne has been really good. I will say that Ukraine's airborne has been fantastic, but I don't think much of their defense against Russia, because it's not a defense, it's a I'm going to give you half of Ukraine. Enjoy. in terms of the Third Internationale, France impressed me at first, but since then have been fighting a losing war. I think that France has shown an exceptional lack of creativity. Here we go, here come the Germans. Are those German? No, they're not heavy tanks. Those are the anti-tank units, aren't they? So Germany is using their infantry to punch through in Belgium. So just to show France how it's done. But they really should just draw a big line and just go click, attack, with everything. They still have no front lines. Now they're just kind of screwing France over, saying, yeah, we can do this without front lines. We don't need front lines. They just make us OP. 50% extra attack. Yeah, we don't need that. Mexico. That's Mexico. America's doing a very slow invasion. Oh, we're in speed 2. That's probably why things are seeming slow at the moment. But, I mean, yeah, USA can take Mexico out with just a fraction of their forces. My real question for the USA is, where else are they? What else are they doing? Because we've seen them massing here in North Africa for a while. And I'm still expecting a big invasion of CNTF-AI. Maybe it's just the fact that there are, what, 4 hours to go? 3.5 hours to go? So they're waiting for an opportunity to make some grand strike and just take something down as a sudden blitz. But that seems to me to be a bad strategy because I don't have faith that they can pull that off. Nothing that they've done so far encourages me otherwise. Maybe it's an extended New Year's ceasefire. Maybe. Can the Reichspakt easily push France? I think so, yes. I think they absolutely could. Germany wolfpacking Cape did well as well. That's true. In fact, let's go and take a look at Germany's perspective to see if they're still catching people down there. Not at present. So have you guys actually moved your fleets away? Are you not at war with Germany? You're at war with them all. Two Sicilies is halfway back from capitulation. Greatest success story. Ukraine is halfway to capitulation. Okay, so we are seeing Russian offensives against the Ukraine here. We do have the Russian heavy tanks in the north, currently facing off against the Austrian heavy tanks. This is a fight in the forest, which is going to benefit the Austrians. The Austrians are pushing back, while the Russians are in low organization, and they're immediately pulling back to regain org themselves. So some fairly hefty heavy tank battles outside Roslavel here. But not really gaining or losing territory on either side. Maybe we'll see nukes? Not for another 2 years. Plus air superiority. The only one that can really nuke anyone would be Reichspakt at this point.